A very good morning to my lovely friends and my lecturer, Madam Divya. This is my group members, and my name is Lechumanan, son of Arumugam. My matrix number is 24DKM18F1206. Today I want to present about my final year project, that is recycling of the machine. These are the sample of the machine that we have created. Introduction. Since 2020, waste disposal regulation have been enforced on premise located several in Malaysia. This mission can help cause the work easier of the work and to avoid the removal of recycling goods. This means since 2020, nowadays in some of the recyclable factory, they still use hand working to separate the waste product. That's why I and my team choose this recycling sorting machine to make them easier.
Good morning to my friends and lecturers. My name is Rathanagam, son of Mathavan. My matric number is F1208. So today I am going to present about problem statement. First problem we state is take a lot of time to separate our recycling waste. Usually in steel factory or steel factory or recycle factory, we can see a lot of recycle items. So it's not possible to finish it by one day. It's minimally take for 1 week or more than 1 week to separate all the recycle items. Another reason is the workers working for a long time also can affect the time of process, because when they're working for a long time they lose a lot of energy. When they lost a lot of energy, their working speed maybe can be slow. So workers working for a long time also can be reason for the take a lot of time to separate our recycling waste. And then the second problem is difficult to separate our recycling waste. For example, in some steel factory, they are using the magna excavator. So what the machine will do is just absorb the metal and put separate. But in some steel factories, they separate all recycling waste by using the hand method. Maybe this method can be difficult to separate for workers, because usually in recycling we can find the broken glass or sharp metals like that. So that is can be harmful for workers, and this is the reason why very difficult to separate our recycled waste by using hand method. And then the third problem is human error, because making a mistake is a general for human, because sometimes the workers also get confused between glass and plastics, but the simple mistake can be double their working process, because again they need to do the separate process. So it's very difficult and take a lot of time to separate. Me and my team members.
Hi, my name is Thevar, son of Nadarajan. So my matrix number is DKM 18F1184. So today I would like to explain about the methodology. From there we can see the items, the things that we use to create our machine, that waste sorting machine. So let's see what kind of things that used to create the machine. So first we are using a steel plate. So we're using five pieces of steel plate, which is 3 feet to 8 feet. So it will cost around Rm 150 ringgit. So the second thing we use is the motor. Okay, the motor we use the motor for the move the conveyor belt. So we're using a DC motor, so it will cost around 155 ringgit. Furthermore, the third thing is belt, which is green conveyor belt. So it will cost around 45 ringgit. And the fourth one is a sensor. Sensor is we're using two sensors, which is capacitive chromatic sensor. The sensor will detect the plastic material and also the glass material. So it will cost around 300 ringgit. Each is 150 ringgit. So another one is a single acting cylinder. We're using a piston cylinder, like a hydraulic pneumatic method. So we're using that for push the recycling materials. So once the sensor detects, it will come, the piston will operate automatically. So it will cost around 45 ringgit. And the sixth one is air compressor. So the air compressor is be used for the piston move. So once the piston want to move, so it need a air compressor. So it will cost around 30 ringgit. And the seventh is programming. So if we do one machine, so it will need a program, right? So we're using a PLC programming. So it will cost around 260 ringgit to make the programming. And the last one is we use electromagnet. So the function of electromagnet is to what to detect the metal substance materials only. So once the cross by the conveyor machine, so the plastic and the glass it will divided by piston. For the metal it will divided by using an electromagnet. So it will cost around 37 ringgit. So the overall expenses to create the machine is around 922 ringgit. This is roughly around 922 ringgit. So that's the thing we're using for create our machine to create the recycling machine. Okay, thank you.
These are the 10 questions that we are creating to survey the workers. The first question is, what are the problems that you face when use and work to separate the waste product? We give 4 options to the workers, that is hygiene, time consuming, safety and confused. Most of the people say hygiene and about 37%, and continue by confused. Confused is 25%. Means they are difficult when they are feel difficult when they calculate the mass quantity of the waste disposal, and the time consuming also they say very difficult, because when they use traditional method, they say too much of time they use for separate the waste product, and the safety is 70%. The second question is, do you need a waste sorting machine? Most of the people say they need a machine to separate the waste product, and only 2% only they say no, the machine no need to, they don't want to use. And the third question is working the traditional method is safe for the workers? Uh, from this question, we prove the machine, the traditional method is not safe the workers, because when they separate the metal all in the hand working, the metal can injure their hand when separate the waste product, and the some of less person only they say no.
Yes, I'm going to explain about question 4 and 5. Here the result given by the workers, and the question is, separating the recyclable good is time consuming. There is 82% people say yes, and another 8% say maybe, and another 10% say no. So most of workers facing the same problem, that is take a lot of time to separate the recyclable goods. Next question is, by using this machine, is it easy to calculate the quantity of waste products? There is 51% of workers says yes, and then another 29% of workers says no, and balance 20% of workers says maybe. We did a survey. The most of workers say they are very difficult to calculate the waste products by using hand method. People say no, because when they're working for a long time, they say they expert already. So they say it's not very difficult to calculate the quantity of waste product.
Let's we see the other questions. So the sixth question, which is, do you think the machine will reduce the manpower? Okay, from here, from our result that we made, Many of them suggest that yes, they prefer that when we produce that machine, so the manpower will be usage of manpower will be less. So yes, it's sure that it will reduce the manpower. Okay, then around 71% they said that uh, it will reduce the manpower, and 20 of them they said maybe, and 8% they said no. They prefer that the traditional method will be the best. Okay, so okay, next question. The next question, we prefer the number of people separating the waste product, making any mistake. Okay, if we using a traditional method, the people will be the separate the things, right, like recycling things like plastic, glass, like that. So if we use the machine, we can reduce the mistake of separating the waste products, like if we have a three container, if like first container plastic, metal, glass, if we using a traditional method, they simply like put the things like a plastic inside there, also have a glass, like that. If we use the machine, it will have the sequence, I mean the correct correct rubbish bin to throw lah. So there's no mixing with other materials. So 68% people they agree with it will reduce the mistake, and 22% they said maybe, and 8% they said no. So they agree with that lah. Okay. So next question, my friend will discuss. So thank you.
Okay. Hello, my name is Nurul Athirah. My matric card number is F1199. For question number 8, number of people who think this machine can separate other item than recycling item is 17, which brings to 48%. The number of people who think this machine cannot separate other item than recycling item is 2, which brings to 5%. And the number of people who is not sure if this machine can separate other item than recycling item is 16, which brings to 45%. Now, for question number 9, the estimate price for this machine. The percentage of the respondent that respond this machine would cost around 100, and the percentage of the respondent that respond this machine would cost 500 is both respectively 25%. Next, 11% of the respondent respond that this machine would cost around 200 ringgit. Next, the percentage of the respondent that respond this machine would cost around 300, and the percentage of the respondent that respond this machine would cost around 400 is both respectively with 8%. And the last 25% of the respondent respond that this machine would cost above 500 ringgit. For question number 10, all of the respondents respond with a positive feedback and think that this project is a good idea. So, our conclusion is that we must create this machine to ease the recycling process for the workers. The reason why we ease the recycling process for the workers is because they separate the recycling item using a bare hand, which is dangerous and not hygiene. They might cut their hands or get a deadly infection. So this is why we create this machine, so that the workers could keep themselves from danger and keep themselves from a dangerous infection. Thank you.